Said it's a good song, but I don't know the name.
Hey, it's Sonia from An Enthusiastic Reader. I'm doing a catch-up of all the tags I've been tagged in. And so we're calling this tag June, and here we go. I've got Jane Austen. I've read all of the novels Jane Austen wrote except for Northanger Abbey, so that's on my TBR. B is for book Twitter. I've created a curated list of my favorite booktubers who are on Twitter, and anytime I don't want to watch anything terrible on my Twitter feed, I will click to my booktuber list and just see everyone consolidated on one screen, and it does actually make me happy. C is for Canadian women novelists, and my favorites are Alice Munro, short story writer mostly, and Carol Shields, a fantastic novelist that has kind of gone out of vogue, and I miss her a lot, and Miriam Taves, who's written a number of books about being a Mennonite or a lapsed Mennonite in a modern world, and she is one of my favorite Canadian and just in general novelists. D is for Don DeLillo. I know that a lot of people think that he is an overwriter and overrated, but I really enjoy the novels of Don DeLillo, especially Underworld, which I've read. I think I've read it 3 times all the way through, and that novel contains the entire 20th century conundrum of modern life. E is for a novelist named Solveig Eggerz. She was one of the novelists that, when I was doing publishing, came to us, and we published her novel Seal Woman. This is one of my favorite novels that I published, and just one of my favorite novels in general. And when our company no longer existed, that title was purchased by another press. So it's still in print, I believe. And it's a wonderful, wonderful novel about World War II, and it's about being a mail order bride after the war and in Iceland. So it takes place in Iceland. I believe the protagonist was a German woman, and she goes to Iceland to be a bride, and she doesn't know the language well, and it's about art, memory, tragedy, all the things that happened that were terrible in the war, and her living in a completely foreign, fish out of water environment. F is for the novelist E.M. Forster. I am a big fan of Howard's End, and I just recently reread that last year. I used to do this thing where every summer I would read a Forster novel, and I still have a couple left because I, for some reason, stopped doing it. But I think I have Maurice left and A Room with a View. So this summer I plan to read Maurice. H is for the short story writer / novelist A.M. Holmes. She writes very disturbing memoir and novels about modern life and the weird disconnection we feel amongst each other in an increasingly confusing world. I is for the early novels of John Irving. I love John Irving and all of his stylistic quirks. J is for Jhumpa Lahiri, for The Interpreter of Melodies, in particular, one of my favorite short story collections. K is for Lisa Ko, the novelist who wrote a book that I think not enough people read last year called The Leavers, and this was a Chinese immigrant story about a mother and son who become separated, and it is so sad in parts, and I really felt like I knew the characters, and the novel left a big impression on me, and I still think about it. L is for Rob Lowe, the actor and memoirist. He made me really mad in his second memoir because he started talking about how libraries are fundamentally unworthy and don't need to exist anymore. And when I got to that point, I closed the book and I never finished. M is for the novelist William Maxwell and his novella So Long, See You Tomorrow. N is for Vladimir Nabokov. I went through a period in my life where I was obsessed with reading the scholarship about and the novels of Vladimir Nabokov. O is for the theorist Walter Ong. I studied him in grad school, and He wrote about the theory of how technology evolved language and actually changed the way our brains work. P is for one of my literary heroes, Ann Patchett. She owns a fabulous bookstore in Nashville, and also I have really loved some of the things that she's written, including the novel Commonwealth and her essay collection, This is the Story of a Happy Marriage. Q. Here's a novel I've never read, Don Quixote. R is for Lisa Remini, the not so great actress who escaped from Scientology. I love stories about escaping oppressive cults and religions. S is for Sean, the book maniac. His videos make me so happy. T is for Donna Tartt. Donna Tartt restarted my love for reading. I was a very prolific reader up until the time I had my first baby. And then between having that baby and the second baby, I kind of just totally quit reading for a period of about 4 years. And The Secret History is the book that pulled me right back into reading, and I don't think I've stopped ever since. U is for Ursula Todd in Kate Atkinson's Life After Life. She's one of my favorite characters in literature. And I was reading a GoodReads review of the companion novel, A God in Ruins. And in this review, the reviewer said that he refused to read Life After Life because it was about a woman who goes back to kill Hitler in time travel, and that anyway, who would want to read a book about a woman named Ursula? And first of all, reviewer, that's not what the book was about at all. And second, Ursula Todd is one of the greatest characters in literary fiction. V, I want to read more Virginia Woolf. W is for The Last Policeman series written by Ben H. Winters. This is an asteroid is headed for Earth, and a policeman still tries to solve crimes and grapples with the existential question of, why am I doing this? X, the only word I can think of that begins with X is xylophone, and it's a word I really like. Y, a book on my TBR is Alice Munro's Testament of Youth. And Z, Lenny Zumas, her novel, The Red Clocks. I'm struggling with this one. Z is for Lenny Zumas. She wrote The Red Clocks, which is a fine example of female dystopia. That's all I have for now. I will see you in the next tag video. Bye.